Hello, my fantasy friends. I'm the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart from HotRoster today. 9 contests are slated in the association for Wednesday night, meaning HotRoster will be bumping with plenty of exciting NBA matchups for tonight's games. To help you guys and gals out with the picks, I'm here to tell you some of my favorites. Let's dig in. It just wouldn't be New York if there wasn't some kind of controversy, some kind of story out there that was creating a lot of grief for the Knicks and their fans. Over the last week, all of that has come to form with Carmelo Anthony, whose desire to stay or leave New York has created quite a distraction. Tonight, Anthony will hope to continue to try and show why he would stay a New York Knickerbocker when he faces off with the Pacers and Paul George on HotRoster. George is not without his own baggage, as the Pacers forward has been struggling of late. The 3-time All-Star averaging 16 points per game on 33% shooting over his last 3 starts. But honestly, I think George, he's going to turn it around tonight, given this favorable matchup with the Kings in Sacramento. Meanwhile, kudos to Anthony for stepping up on Monday night despite all the noise that surrounded him. Carmelo, this guy went off, notching 30 points against the Hawks only a day after he addressed the media about the reports suggesting his time in the Big Apple might be done. I think Anthony is in line for a regression against the Celtics, while George is due for a big night in Cali. That's why I'm taking George to win this matchup on HotRoster. Another tilt on HotRoster features a couple of All-Stars, as the Warriors' Steph Curry is pitted up against Damian Lillard of the Blazers. And it's hard not to lean towards Curry, especially given his turnaround in 2017. Curry has averaged nearly 28 points, 7 assists, and 4 triples per game over his last 7 starts in the new year. However, the challenge for Curry tonight is going to be a tough matchup against Russell Westbrook and the Thunder. Something that Damian Lillard won't have to worry about when he plays in Charlotte against the Hornets. The Hornets are coming off a road trip that saw them go 0-5, and they surrendered 109 points per game too. This isn't something that has been new for the Hornets, considering they've given up at least 100 points in 8 straight games. I think it goes without saying that these results bode great for Lillard. I know he's been struggling since coming back from that ankle injury, given he's averaging just 21 points over those 6 games, but I think tonight's the night where we see the real Lillard return, and he does just enough to beat Curry on HotRoster. Lastly, HotRoster also sees 2 of the game's best young bigs face off, as DeMarcus Cousins of the Kings is matched up against the Greek Freak of the Bucks. Both of these guys are absolute monsters on HotRoster, given how much they dominate in so many categories. Cousins especially has been hot as of late, flirting with triple-double territory, and he's averaging 24 points per game, 8 boards, and nearly 7 assists over his last 8 starts. Similarly, the Greek Freak has also been rock solid. He's averaging 24 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists over that same stretch. The problem for tonight isn't so much the Greek Freak or the matchup against the Rockets, it's that Cousins seems to be taking his game to another level. In 10 of his last 11 games, Cousins has dished out at least 5 helpers, which is something we haven't often seen from Boogie. Plus, despite the fact he's been distributing the basketball more, Cousins has still managed to score 25 points or more in 9 of his last 11. Matching those stats shouldn't be a problem tonight for Boogie Cousins when he faces the Pacers tonight. I think he and the Greek Freak are in for both monster performances, but I give the edge to Cousin on HotRoster. Well, that's it for today, my fantasy friends. Make sure you tune in tomorrow when we look at some of the matchups available on the HotRoster Thursday slate of NHL games. And for those of you who don't know what HotRoster is, you've got to check it out. Go to HotRoster.com, download the app, give it a try. It's like no other fantasy game you've ever played. And then for help winning the game, check out HotRoster today with me and Gary and Thorne every weekday at 4:30 Eastern, only on the Fantasy Sports Network. For HotRoster now, I'm Cam Stewart, and I'll see you later on.